You're not biting chicken fiber, you're biting engineering. McDonald's nuggets get their uniform bite from a ground mix held together with starches, oils, and seasonings, so they fry up perfect every time. Today, I'll show you how that chicken Play-Doh texture is built, why a 6-piece can load you with a big chunk of your daily sodium, and how that smooth, spongy chew gives away the trick. If you want value without the cardiovascular hit, stay with me. We're pulling back the breading to see what's really doing the heavy lifting. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Let's start with the part you never see. Before a nugget gets that neat shape, its meat scraped from parts, trimmed, and run through a grinder until the long muscle fibers stop acting like fibers. What you get is a pale, uniform mash. Not breast texture. More like a wet dough. From there, the path is pure factory logic. The ground mix goes into a blender with a measured salt solution and a slurry that helps it hold water and fat. That step knocks out the natural grain and sets up a smooth chew. The goal isn't Sunday dinner. It's standard shape and speed in the fryer. Here's the tension you feel, but don't always name. Real chicken breast has strands that pull and tear. A nugget interior looks slick and even, with no clear grain. Do a simple test at home. Cook a breast and pull it apart with your fingers, and it makes ribbons. Take a nugget and crack it open, and it crumbles into pellets and paste. That's the process talking. Food processors rely on meat restructuring to get that result. They break muscle, add brine so salt can draw out sticky proteins, and mix in starch to hold the liquid fat and water during cooking. The blend gels when heated, so the bite feels soft and steady instead of stringy. It's controlled, not rustic. Why go to all this trouble? Predictable size means identical cook times. A tighter mix means fewer blowouts in the fryer. Uniform pieces stack, ship, and reheat with fewer losses. In a plant built for volume, yield and speed beat natural texture every day. Think of it like spackle for meat. It fills the gaps, covers the seams, and makes every surface look smooth even when the base is mixed and matched. Different inputs, same finish. Before a restaurant worker ever sees a box, the pieces run a cold chain. The mix is chilled to stay firm, pressed in molds so every edge matches, then par-fried just long enough to set a crust that won't fall off later. After that, it's frozen hard for shipment, built for scale, not fiber. So the payoff is simple. The nugget's texture is locked in well before the fryer sizzles, by grinding and binding, not by natural muscle. Now let's move on to what gets mixed in to keep that Play-Doh texture locked in. If it's just chicken, why does it need a chemistry set to sit still in the fryer? Let's start with the usual cast that shows up in the mix. Starches and modified starch for moisture control, vegetable oils for a slick bite, salt, and a tight seasoning blend. None of that screams barnyard. It screams, make this paste behave. Real muscle fibers give you a tug and a shred. Binders give you bounce. That's soft. Even chew is not an accident. It's built so every bite lands the same, whether the bird started as breast, thigh, or trim. Here's how the parts play their roles. Starch soaks up water like a sponge, locks it in, and keeps the nugget from drying out, while oil knocks down rough edges, so the mouthfeel stays smooth. Salt does double duty. It boosts flavor, and it pulls out sticky myosin proteins that act like glue. Once mixed, the pieces grab onto each other like clay and hold shape under heat. Behind the scenes, food technologists aim for two targets you never see on the menu: water activity and gel strength. In plain terms, they tweak moisture and firmness so the nugget can take a deep fry blast, sit under a heat lamp, and still snap the same way 10 minutes later. This is durability, not farmhouse charm. Even the shapes are planned. Forming molds stamp each piece so surface area, oil exposure, and cook time match across the line. Identical profiles mean identical results, batch after batch. About that natural flavor idea. Chicken from different cuts can taste and smell a bit different. Standardized seasoning wipes out that variability, so the brand signature never wobbles. You expect the same bite on Tuesday at noon and Saturday at midnight. The blend makes sure you get it. Then there's the breading system. It runs in layers. Pre-dust for grip, batter for stick, breader for crunch. Those coats trap steam so the crust crackles while the core sets into that gelled, uniform interior. Crunch outside, smooth inside, engineered end to end. The takeaway is blunt. The uniform texture isn't luck, it's a recipe where chicken gets a support crew to keep every piece smooth and identical. But here's the kicker. Uniform comes with a cost you feel in your blood pressure, not just your bite. Let's start with the baseline that actually matters. Major health groups say most adults should cap sodium at the top end and aim lower if blood pressure is an issue. That's not theory. It's the rule of thumb used for heart protection and stroke risk. Now take a snack-size order of nuggets with one little sauce. You just spent a big slice of that limit, and you haven't touched fries. Nuggets look small, harmless, easy. The sodium hides in layers, and it stacks fast. You get salt in the meat mix, more in the batter, and more in the breading. Then the dip finishes the job. The math doesn't look scary on the menu board, but your daily target feels it. Here's why the count climbs. The meat gets brined so it stays juicy and sticks together. The batter needs salt to set flavor under hot oil. The breading adds another hit for crunch and shelf life under heat lamps. Sauces are tuned salty on purpose, so they still taste loud after 10 minutes under a warmer. Add them up, and the number jumps before you even think about a second packet. Research lines up with common sense. Meals heavy on sodium are linked to higher blood pressure and more strain on your heart over time. It's not one box once. It's the pattern. If lunch, dinner, and the snack between trend salty, the baseline creeps up. Do a quick side-by-side in your own kitchen. 6 nuggets with 1 sauce packs a heavy load of salt for the portion size. A grilled chicken breast you season yourself with a pinch of salt and pepper delivers protein with a fraction of that sodium. Same bird, different outcome. Control is the difference. The chain effect is where people get tripped up. Make it a combo, and you layer bun salt, fry salt, and more sauce salt on top of the nugget salt. That value meal is often a sodium stack dressed as convenience. There's also the upsell most folks miss. More salt makes you thirsty. Thirst helps sell bigger drinks. That turns a cheap bite into a bigger bill and a bigger intake. Small box, big load. And if you still want fast protein without the engineered chew or the salt spike, you have options that keep the speed and lose the damage. Let's start with a simple swap. You want speed, you want price, but you don't want Play-Doh chicken. Keep the drive-thru, lose the engineered chew. The truth is, intact muscle gives you real pull, better value, and fewer extras riding along for the trip. At fast food counters, pick items that use whole pieces of chicken. Grilled or rotisserie style where available beats a ground patty every time. Ask for no extra salt. Hold the sauce or ask for it on the side. Then use a light dip instead of a soak. You keep control, and you cut the hidden load that tends to sneak in. If you shop, buy plain thighs or breasts. They're cheap, they freeze well, and you decide what goes on them. Batch cook on a Sunday, portion into bags, and you've got grab-and-go protein all week. No surprise binders. No support crew in the ingredient line. Use texture cues to guide you. Real muscle looks like long strands that pull and tear. Your fork should find the grain and make strips, not crumbs. If the interior is uniform and spongy and it breaks into little bits, you're not dealing with natural fiber. You're dealing with a molded blend. Here's the budget angle. Price per ounce. Plain chicken often gives you more protein for the same money than breaded bites. You're not paying for a thick coat and the extras baked into it. You pay for meat. Simple. Quick prep doesn't have to mean bland. Sheet pan chicken with salt, pepper, garlic, and a little oil gives you juicy meat with no guessing. Stovetop sear in a hot pan works when you want speed. Air fryer strips with light seasoning give you a crisp edge without a salt bomb. Cook once, stack meals, save time. Be label literate. Short ingredient lists are your friend. Words like modified starch and protein concentrate are a tell that you're moving away from natural texture and toward a designed chew. If you want that pull-apart bite, skip those and stick to basics. You still get fast, tasty protein, just built on real fiber, not the glue that makes meat behave like clay. If this gave you something to chew on, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who lives on nuggets. Here's the real kicker. That smooth nugget bite is built by grinding chicken, then locking it into a uniform gel with binders and salt. Not natural fiber. A design chew. Your move is simple. Pick real fiber protein and step around the sodium landmines. Whole cuts. Short ingredient lists. Season it yourself. Like and subscribe to help us keep the spotlight on the food industry's best-kept secrets. Stay curious. We'll trace the next 100% claim and see how much survives the fine print. You might want to bring a skeptical eye and maybe a fork that finds grain instead of a sponge that crumbles.